Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming to see us for our technically what we would consider our third episode of filming here. We say technically because the first two that we filmed were longer than what we thought we would be producing and putting out. So we think we may end up with episode 1, part 1, part 2, episode 2, part 1, part 2, and split them up a little bit. But here we are. First and foremost, I want everybody to know my wife saw some footage of the first 2 episodes. She told me I had to wear color because I was wearing very dark shirts those days. So here you go. You can thank my wife for all of this perfection right here.
She's going to have to come to my house and dress me too, right?
She does not dress me. I pick my own clothes out. I buy my own clothes. She does not dress me. She just said I needed to put a little color. I couldn't be all black or real dark. So here we are. As you can see, it looks maybe a little different as we are progressing and starting to get this footage. And for those that are watching, when you're just listening, obviously none of this is going to matter to you, but we're changing the appearance a little bit. And that's probably going to continue to happen as we go through this and figure out exactly what the hell we're doing. It's all new to us, and I have expectations too, but expectations of what I want to deliver, what I want us to put out. So you're going to see some changes as we tinker with things and hopefully, continue to provide higher quality content. So first, we'll just kick it off. Let's talk about the last week. I'd say easily the first thing to talk about was the last episode we filmed on Saturday night. It is now, Wednesday night. Saturday night, we had Andy Parks and Phil Hester came in and they sat in for our second episode. I think we had some great conversations there.
Absolutely.
We got some fantastic information. So thank you to them both for coming in. When we talk about learning from what we're doing, that was the first footage I watched and I was like, we definitely need multi-camera or we got to change our layout. We're still going to put it out. Obviously, we're going to do the best that we can with what we have, but we're learning from what we do.
Well, and with any luck, maybe we'll get them back here again to do it some other time.
Right. Sit in on the better format and it'd be a little, but.
Well, I mean, I still have more questions.
Oh, sure. We could have gone on another 2 hours.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. Can't expect them to stay here all night. They already stayed twice as long as we originally asked them
right.
to. So,
yeah. And it was easy to do. And then on top of that, during the break, they started to do some shopping. We took a break mid filming and recording. They were doing some shopping and they were both after the same title. They wanted some Warlord books.
Absolutely, they did.
And I guess the way you say it, we hooked them up. We gave them both. They walked out here with stacks, each one of them.
Well, the funny thing about that is I've been trying to build a Warlord run because I had a small bit of Warlord books as a young kid and got to read those and never anything else. And I know that run did not go on for so long because it was terrible.
No, absolutely.
So I want to read it. So I've been building up in the back and at home a number of books. And once I realized that's what they were looking for, I said, oh my goodness, let me go grab this stack.
Well, and then it just so happened that very day I bought a lot.
Right.
That had a full short box of Warlord books in it. So we pulled this all out. They were kind of like honey badgering, like, oh yeah, finding all this stuff. And obviously as a thank you, not that Warlord books, demand big money or anything, unfortunately, because, I think, Grell did fantastically with that and it's completely underrated.
Well, Dan Jurgens had a long run.
Yeah,
on it also.
He did as well.
And that's early stuff for Jurgens.
And if I'm, going to speak from a child of the 80s, I think a whole thing of I have the power with Motu a little influence came from that, along with other things like Conan and some of the other barbaric stuff. But
Well, they had their own toy line that also included Arak,
yeah,
and I don't know if it was exclusive, but was definitely available through Kmart, according to all the ads that they put
Sure.
in the comics
Right.
themselves. And oddly enough, that was, my brother and I, as kids, asked for Motu toys, and a couple of times we got Warlord because somebody was shopping at Kmart.
They saw muscles.
And so
Thought that was
it's just,
Motu.
there's another little bit of my nostalgia right there
Yeah.
for that whole property is those toys.
For me, my dad was just huge into the whole warrior barbarian thing. Like, I probably watched some movies I shouldn't have as a young child. That's a whole different episode that you can't have the kids watch. I'll explain some of those because they get weird. All right. So anyway, they got, they both took home a nice stack of stuff with them. And so fantastically, Sunday at the con, we'll put, for the people watching and those that aren't, you're just going to miss out, or you'll have to go check out our social media. But Sunday at the con, Phil and Andy wanted to say thank you to us for the evening, I guess, and did this fantastic commission, duoed on that, and we are going to figure out where to hang that here in the shop and let it be on display for people to enjoy, because as James put it, that's pretty dope.
Yeah,
I sent him the picture when I got it on Sunday. He said that's pretty dope. So, and it is. It's fantastic. And thank you to both of those gentlemen.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen.
We're going to put this here on display and enjoy it very much.
Absolutely appreciate that more than you can know, because you could have drawn 200 different characters, and that one hit the spot for me.
Yeah, it's great. So with that is a new item we're going to have in the shop, only on display, obviously, not for sale ever. Let's talk about what came into the shop over the last week.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's I said it a little while ago off camera. It's a never ending story. We get to live the life of obtaining things, but not necessarily collecting them.
Yeah.
But we get to obtain over and over and over. And, it's always a surprise when it walks through the front door. We don't always know what's coming in. Even if they call, they give us little tidbits.
Well, yeah, and there is plenty of times we might see stuff that somebody doesn't really know about,
Right.
So, and obviously, in any comic dealer or buyer that's out there knows the saying, they're all still in plastic when it comes to comics. Well, most of them didn't come in plastic.
If only we could have $1 every time somebody said that on the phone.
I wouldn't need the store. I wouldn't need the shop. We'd be sitting on a beach somewhere, man. So, we get a lot of that. This week was a big week for buying. A lot came in. We got a great lot of Marvel Legends, and sometimes nowadays when you hear that, you're like, oh, are you just bringing me all the stuff you bought from Ross
and Ollie's?
Yeah, are you bringing me the $5.99, $6.99, $4.99 discount stuff? Well, this was a nice lot, and it actually, took a few hours to go through, price up, and make a fair offer to this seller.
It was older waves.
Yes and no. There was some older stuff, but there was plenty of the black box stuff,
Sure.
And they were just good characters, and good ones that weren't case heavy, as they went out to to the stores. We bought a bunch of comics. I think there wasn't, there was one comic that I'm going to get to, but we bought 40 boxes in the last 6-7 days at least. And
I hadn't really added it up in my mind, but
it's quite a bit.
And that's long boxes.
That's long boxes,
not shorts.
No, and all of that over the last week is just what walked into the store. And I promise people I will form a habit to stop hitting the table to make that noise.
I'm gonna put some mittens on you.
Yeah, I might need a little oven mitts. Oh gosh, I was going to make a bad reference, but we'll leave that alone. So much has been coming in. We're seeing a rise in selling right now, for whatever reasons, various reasons.
Well, when there's a dip in people buying things, we always see a
selling
rise in
goes up.
people selling things
And
to us.
we are seeing a dip this year for the first time in 4 years. We're seeing a dip in sales. And, it was just constant growth. And then we had 2 years back to back, very little growth between the two. But we also cut out so much. I guess we'll go into that now. I don't know. It's a good time. But,
well, we mostly stopped buying Funkos.
Well, we stopped buying Funkos. But when I say we stopped doing so much, and we had our best year ever. I mean, it was 3 years in a row we had that. That fourth year was so close. Not, the greatest growth, but, 5%, I think we grew. Over 24 over 23. And that's what I'm saying is, like, we stopped doing all of our
shipping and claims.
We're going to come back to that, because that is a whole nother subject. I'm straying off, but they're kind of connected.
It's a whole other podcast explaining why those things happen. But the end result is we stopped doing that.
And maintained.
And
we stopped doing sidewalk sales. We cut down on our conventions. So anyway, people that have followed us on social media have heard this repeatedly. So I apologize. Moving back to what we bought, there was an influx of selling merch walking in here over the last, couple of weeks. Nothing really, again, of note. I mean, we do have some nice little lots of Silver Age and Bronze Age that we're processing, and it's coming out. You guys will see some new stuff here real short. Well, by the time this video comes out, that'll be a month ago. So
lots of 50-cent and dollar books.
Lots of bulk. But we do have plenty of quality, and we're also still working through older stuff. That's not what I'm getting to. So the one big notable book, we took the long way around to get around here.
But it's a banger.
We had a Venom Funeral Pyre 1 error book. So there was no foil, no holofoil adhered to the cover when this book was printed. So everywhere the reddish gold foil was, it was just blank white. Now, more people are going to be familiar with the Venom Lethal Protector #1.
Which has a couple of different errors.
Yeah, there's a few, 2, 3 maybe. But this book in particular, there's only one graded that is trackable anywhere. And the seller, or the submitter, got a green label on it because it was
something CGC hadn't seen enough to put their own variant label.
Or not even variant, just blue label and call it an error.
Well, sure, but in their own words, they want to put a name on it, and they have to see it enough times to put a variant name on the label, a blue label.
So unlike the Venom Lethal Protector that they've seen
over and over,
a decent amount at least, they have not seen this book. So they said it was missing something.
Which it is.
Foil, technically it is, right?
So one guy on Reddit, I think, called it a pumpkin something or other, referring to the color of the foil.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Or psychedelic pumpkin or something, he called it.
So this book came, long story, like it came from Canada. I don't know where the other one that's out there and people know about. I don't know where that seller was.
I read somewhere that CGC said they've seen 3 total.
But there's only one on the census and GPA, which makes no sense because they control their own census.
Right.
Unless I'm wrong on that. Somebody can call me out if I am. But this book came out of a private collection in Saskatchewan, Canada. And
how in the world did it end up there? As rare as it is.
Yeah.
How did it get shipped to Canada in the first place?
I don't know.
Did it get bought off the stands there?
My understanding in the brief conversation with the seller that brought it here to our store. And so we'll kind of circle around that story as well. So we have a customer that comes in here, originally from Nashville, relocated to Canada for a woman, as most guys end up doing.
What's he gonna do?
He's very happy, apparently. But his mother, when I think, if I'm telling this right, when she retired, she relocated here to St. Louis area from Nashville. So when he comes home to visit her at least a couple times a year, he makes it a point to come in and see us and visit our store. Has said some very kind words, and we thank him for that. But he brought this book down for some trade, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little scared of it. So he got it from a friend that he met through collecting up there, who said they bought it off the stands. And now we have it. So, or we had it very, not even 24 hours did I own that book.
I'm feeling a little spicy about all that because it came in on my day off and it left on my other day off.
Right.
It's one of those books I've never had in my hands, and now still have not had in my hands. I didn't get to see it or touch it. I got to see a picture.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you get. You want to smell the hand that touched it?
It's some Zeppelin stuff because it was in through the outdoor.
Yeah. So that was a fantastic thing to have, and I was glad I took the gamble. And when I say I took a gamble, he was asking good money for it, and I'm not saying it was unjustified. Obviously,
that book is unobtainium.
Yeah.
And if we had 50 of them, I think we could have sold every one.
It might take us a little while.
Yeah, a minute, but I mean, as fast as that first one. I mean, how long was the guy waiting outside that bought it before we even opened that day?
I got here 20 minutes before I unlocked the door, and he was out there. So, and that was the first thing. He came in, looked at the wall, said, "Where's that?
Where is it at?"
Right here on my table. It's back here behind the counter. I got it. Talk about it. Said the price. We didn't make a huge amount of money on that book, and I mean, we're never trying to make a huge amount of money, but
we got to make some money.
We got to make some money, and I was hoping the rarity behind that book and the price that I threw on it, because of the rarity, would attract people, and it did exactly that, because we had 3 other people trying to get it over the next day or two, and it was gone already. So,
well, with higher price items, in a lot of cases, we don't necessarily have a ton of people all competing for it because it's expensive.
Price out, yeah.
Especially in today's economy.
Yeah,
it's very easy for a single item as a collectible to be too expensive.
Well, and just even as you mentioned the economy, aside from that, the fluctuation in the market, I don't think nearly as many toys there. It's definitely felt it, but as paper products, comics, they hit hard sometimes. But when you have a book as rare as that is not a speculation book, a gimmick book. Technically that's a little bit of a gimmick, but it was an error halofoil. Halofoil.
The regular version of that book was a gimmick.
Exactly. So so that was great to have and to move out that quick. Again, I don't think we own that book for 15 hours. Yeah.
Well, and there's an incredible chance of us to even have something like that. It went real quick, but we just don't see things that rare that often.
Well, no, it's not like an item like that walks in here every week, for sure. We definitely see items like that.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't see them on a daily basis, a weekly or monthly basis.
Now, we might have tripped over ourselves accidentally into one that is not that rare, but still pretty rare, which is a Superboy annual DC Universe variant, which would have been packed into some kind of multi-pack and sold through a box store like a Walmart or a Target, something to that effect. And the research online
could have been Grandpa Pigeons.
Well, it might even, but the people who study these things with great depth don't even know how that book was released because it's rare enough.
there's no traceable evidence of where it came
Yeah,
from.
well, I mean,
essentially.
nobody has a sealed
Right.
one to show to us.
Right.
You know, we just know that it does exist, and we can prove that now because we actually still have that one here. It hasn't made it through
No.
our process.
I mean,
yet,
in
but
all transparency, it's sitting on my desk in the back waiting to get pressed.
yeah,
So,
it's going to get a little touch, but even then, how do you price that book? There's
yeah, it's
It's-
going
I
to be
mean-
hard to find info. It's going to be a similar situation.
just like the Venom book.
Yeah,
There's
Not
so
quite to that money level, but
there's so
Okay.
little information in the very
Mhm.
same way of finding comps. We're gonna have to be dealers and
make our own price.
make our own price.
That's an inside joke.
So it's-
We'll talk about that at some point, maybe down the road, years from now. So the other thing that I'm just going to nerd out about a little bit is this fantastic Star Wars. This is going to be my new Kool-Aid pitcher.
Well,
The Empire Strikes Back.
well, and we just got this one today
Today, this came in.
with a bunch of other stuff.
It came in with a bunch of other stuff. And this, I mean, there were more valuable items in this lot that came in today for sure.
But nothing is cool.
As cool.
'Cause-
So I've been doing this for 3 years now. And I have had so many of the cups that came out with this print on them. But I have never had my Kool-Aid pitcher come through my hands. And I mean, next week we might be sitting on camera drinking Tang and vodka out of this. I don't know.
Well, and it's so funny to me that you call it a Kool-Aid pitcher because my grandmother made us Kool-Aid on such a regular basis and had a pitcher with a little
Yeah, absolutely.
pop top on it, just like this. It didn't have any Star Wars
No.
logos
But
or
we
art
had a
on it.
Kool-Aid pitcher.
Yeah, we had a Kool-Aid pitcher for sure.
Couldn't afford soda. We had Kool-Aid.
Well,
So
that's right.
So that's what came into the shop. So now let's circle back. We started to talk about the no shipping and holds.
Oh boy.
So I guess we'll just dive into that. you
Well,
know.
first off, how long has it been that we stopped? I've almost lost track because some time has gone by.
Exactly a year and a half. We stopped prior to Black Friday in 2023.
Wow, it doesn't feel like it's been
Yeah.
that long.
I mean, we've shipped like 2 or 3 items.
Well, I mean,
since
we
then.
finally gotten to the point where we stopped in all of our posts on Facebook and
Having
Instagram
to tell people.
having to say no claims, no holds, no shipping.
So, and let's address that because even today somebody brought that up in the store about like, man, I wish people wouldn't have screwed it up and ruined it for the rest of us for the shipping holds and claims.
Which is part of it.
That is part of it,
But it's not all of it.
Yeah, and that was even the thing. I even posted about this on our socials that it wasn't necessarily anymore. We did go through a big stretch of that where people were claiming stuff, not paying for it, not coming to pick it up, not, whatever. In the end, what it came down to, why we aren't shipping or allowing people to claim and pay for things up front that we're posting on our social media for those at home that haven't been in our shop, that don't know, we post everything new that we put out in the store. Very little gets missed or ignored for purposes, but I'd say at least 95% of what,
I would say
98.
99.
Yeah, it's rare.
Well, and
I mean, like we skipped, sometimes there's stuff that we pull off the floor because it's not moving or we want space for something else. It might go into storage and then we'll bring it back. We don't post when we put it back out in most cases.
the other exception I would think of is if it's something we have multiples of, somebody comes in. We just posted it.
That's a whole nother.
We put a
conversation.
picture out there,
Yeah.
but somebody buys one and we go get the same thing and put it right back out.
I think I'm gonna come back to that point now because I
Okay.
think that might wrap up our little talk tonight.
Sure.
Right there, that thing.
That's a good one.
So, so we post everything, and for a couple of years, I did not do this when I first opened the shop almost 6 years ago. I didn't take claims. claims. And then I started taking claims. And I think a lot of that was kind of the 2020, 2021. We were doing live sales, so that was going on.
You were forced to because of COVID.
I had to make whatever I could.
Had to ship items out to something other than the locals.
Yeah, absolutely. So we offered that. And then when we moved in here, and as I started to grow staff, I said, let's go ahead and, cater to these people. And we were shipping out a lot of stuff. We were sending invoices out for local people and having them pick it up. So the reason we stopped and will not offer again, it's kind of multifaceted, I guess. First and foremost, it was the time that it was taking us. I mean, literally on a weekly basis, there could have been one 40-hour-a-week person dedicated to pulls, shipping, dropping stuff off, to get out, sending invoices, all of that stuff. And it was 3 of us that were splitting that up.
Yeah. Well, I think you could call that risk versus reward.
Right. So, and we were making money, like we were selling stuff. But what was happening, the adverse effect of that, was that so many locals were coming in. And so I'm even going to crack the onion a little further and go another layer. So many locals were coming in and saying, like, I want to get this. You just posted it. Well, 10 minutes ago, somebody paid for it and we're going to ship it out. Well, you just posted it an hour ago. Yeah, it's gone. So the hottest stuff was being plucked from the store and going to the back room to get ready for shipping. So the other layer to that onion, and we're going to circle around a lot tonight. Apparently, this is my favorite motion, I guess, tonight. But is we still have that today with no claims or shipping. People are coming in and be like, you just posted this a couple hours ago. Yeah, some guy came in 20 minutes after. Like, it happens.
Right.
People are coming in and people are like, you really sold that in 24 hours? Yeah, we did.
One guy today, I think, asked about 2 or 3 different things.
That was all gone.
It was already gone.
And we just posted it 20 to yesterday. 28 hours ago, like in that spread. So it wasn't that big, of a spread. And it was gone already.
Well, so I had to tell one of the guys that thing you just asked about. Yes, I posted it, 24 hours ago. There was a guy here within 2, maybe 3 hours. I mean, you didn't miss it by just a little bit.
Yeah, you missed it by a day.
Yeah, he drove right over here.
Yeah, and I get not everybody has that ability, but that's how it works. People run in to get what they want, and that was what I was willing to take that gamble on because. That's where I was going. People weren't paying, people weren't picking up. We had those issues, but it was dwindling. The bigger issue started to come from the local people here weren't getting a chance at what we were putting out. It was going elsewhere. And I don't believe in like my community here first. That's real. I don't believe in just wanting to ship all the good stuff elsewhere without having an opportunity for our people around us to have that. That was the absolute biggest thing. And then as I keep doing this motion tonight, that circles back to what we were talking about the drop in sale, not experiencing that drop over the 2 previous years, even though we cut that and cons out. I think it was a benefit for us because it was more front facing for our people here.
Yeah.
And
if I might peel that onion just a little bit further,
we're going through the layers.
We were doing a lot of extra work.
That's what I was getting at.
For no extra money.
No, and in fact,
and doing it for people that aren't our actual local customer base.
And it was more work, which cost me more money.
Yes.
And then the flip side to that, all those invoices, those payments, the shipping, like that cost me more on top of it too, rather than us just selling it here in person. in the shop. So that was, we made the right decision, and we're
Absolutely.
going to stay that way.
Zero regrets.
Now, with that being said, at some point, we are going to start loading up the eBay store, but that is not going to be stuff that we're like brand new stuff here. It's, it's going to be the higher dollar, the more unique, eclectic items that we just aren't getting a big enough market for, that have a very narrow market.
Well, it's not that we won't give the locals a chance. It's going to have to sit here probably for a minute.
No, I mean, what we're already talking about when we get started with that, it's all stuff that's been here for a couple of years, 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, and that's a flip side too. When you're running a shop, there's things that sell out of here, and I'm like, oh, I've had that from my con days before we were even, in a storefront. We didn't even have a store, and I finally sold this. And, so that just happens. But
and conversely, we put out things and we laugh and say, nobody's ever going to buy this.
And it's the first thing to walk out the door.
And it's immediately
Freddy Krueger chopsticks today. Or was that yesterday? Yesterday. You were posting toys.
Yeah.
And you put out Freddy Krueger chopsticks, little leather glove with 2 stainless steel chopsticks on them. And we were like, this is never going anywhere. It's $4. Nobody's going to buy this.
And Scott and I laughed about it, absolutely 100%. And you know what? Bless that woman that bought those things.
It was the first toy of those posts to sell almost. I mean, it was crazy.
It just,
So then that brings us back to, I don't know, what was I circling back to? The shipping.
And claims and holds.
Claims and holds. We were doing the eBay store. Yes. Duplication.
Oh, yeah.
Duplication.
That's been here for a while. Can I have a discount?
I have 10 more in the back, and we've sold 20 of them already, sir. Well, I don't know what you want. Like, we have a Secret War set sitting in a case, near mint, beautiful set. Guy came in and was like, would you cut me a deal? And I was like, okay, would you cut me a deal? I know this has been here since last summer.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, okay, so yes, last August, I went and I bought a collection in Springfield, Illinois. And the collector was a speculator in the 80s and 90s. There were 5 and 12 and, dozens of issues of certain things. Mm-hmm. That was our 5th or 6th Secret War set that I've had. I just kept putting them in there, they're going, they keep going. But I did say, this one has been around a little bit.
To the customer's credit, if we don't post another picture,
sure.
We just put it right back out. Yeah. They don't know the rotation.
For our regulars that are watching that stuff online and in our socials, they may not know, and I get that. But the same thing, like the Boba Fett 3 3/4 prototype, all white figure, in the retro card. Yeah.
We had a case of.
People are like, can you do any better on these? You've had this. This has been sitting in this case for a while. We had 38 of them. But we bought a full case, and then the same seller came back 3 months later with another 18 of them.
Uh-huh.
And no, I mean, we're selling them.
They're doing okay.
But what I can do is we have that one out of the nice little protective case, the white cardboard box sitting there. I'll go grab you one that's still sealed in the back room.
There you go.
And then, they're happy. But
you can have the shipper with it.
Yeah. We buy out. So we buy, not only do you buy collections, and then some collections may have an abundance of duplication in them because somebody, for whatever reason, thought that was a good idea. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Hey, some people really like Boba Fett.
Sure. Hey, army build a Boba Fett to take on the troopers. Why not? I mean, but then again, the same collection that we're talking about, the Secret War set came out of, there was one X-Men 266. There was one ASM 300, but there were, 324, there were 30 copies or 10 copies or whatever of, and it just happens. And then we also have guys, and I think like some of the Boba Fett, I think that was somebody that thought they invested thinking resale market would be there for them, and it did not work out. And then we also, plenty of times, I do not talk about who or where a lot of our merchandise comes from. And that's not cryptic in any way. What I mean by that is I could be going to buy out dealers. I've bought out many stores over the years. I will say that's happened less and less since I've opened my own store. But prior to that, I did that quite a bit.
Well, and we've still had our fair share of that. We've gone to some stores. We've gone to some warehouses.
Yeah.
We've gone to some
Barns.
houses that might as well have been a warehouse because somebody collected that hard.
And barns and all kinds of stuff. And sometimes, you just end up with an abundance. And then oddly enough, when we're talking about that, weird thing that really happens is like, I haven't seen this in 3 years. I just bought one. And then over the next week, 4 of them come through the door. It's really odd how cyclical that can be, that you keep seeing the same thing and the same thing. Like, I think it was a year and a half ago, I could not tell you how many collections, straight runs of Venom, the Donny Cates run, Immortal Hulk that year.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was like some of that stuff.
It's finally slowed down.
Yeah. And some of that, like when it comes to comics, I think that happens. Some collectors read it, loved it, but they're done with it. They don't want it, and a lot of people struggle with space, whatever reasons, but we just see that it happens. I swear we went like 6 months barely seeing any horror comics.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, House of Secrets, House of Mystery, like all this stuff, and just runs of it that we just kept getting over and over here recently.
Which is nothing to complain about.
No, not at all.
But the complaint is when it doesn't show up.
Sure.
And why can't the giant Silver Age Marvel collections be cyclical at the very least? They're so few and far between.
I think so. I think that's all. Do we want to get into this now? Because I think that could be a long conversation that we might say for next time. That might be our big topic.
We don't have too much time left.
Yeah. So this one we're keeping short and sweet tonight. We're not doing a part 1, part 2. It's been a long couple of weeks for both of us. So we're just going to finish up what we got to do. We are going to come back to that. I have a lot, I think we both do, on why we're just not seeing the abundance of silver and even golden age right now. And we're going to talk about the generations and the people who have collected that and when we're going to see that again.
So much to say about that.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll remember that next week when we come back.
That's, it's something that's always on my mind, because I think the next decade will be very telling about what's sitting where and how long it's been sitting there, and people finally being ready to let go of it. And it might be because they're not ready to let go of it, but their family is, because
they might not be around or they're gone. Yeah. And I think we'll see some of that, but I think the decade mark, which is stretching us out a little bit longer with a lot of that stuff, it's always been this way. See, we're already going down a rabbit hole. We shouldn't be doing this, but I'm just going to say it's a generational thing.
Absolutely.
I think there is more of those collections in people our age's hands right now than what we're used to seeing with, the older guys or people that phased out of that.
20 years ago, we were able to buy this stuff regularly.
I always had an abundance of silver and bronze age. 20, 15 years ago, 10 years ago.
It wasn't hard to find.
I mean, it's gotten harder just here in the last 7 years to find that stuff. And we keep lucking out. Our problem is, and it's a good problem to have, we just sell it way too fast.
Yeah,
We
it's
get it.
we can't hang on to it.
Like,
And I mean, there's plenty of other parts of this shop that do exactly the same.
sure,
thing.
where you see a certain cycle of toys, magazines, stuff like that. I mean, same thing. We were just talking cyclical. In the last, well, this was last summer again. Famous Monsters of Filmland.
Oh my
magazine.
goodness, yeah. And
It was like we would see stragglers here and there, and then all of a sudden, in like 2 months, I bought 4 collections of the stuff.
and now we don't see any again.
Now we don't see any, and I've sold almost all of it. Like,
Well, I mean, I don't think there's one book left in the case over there.
That whole bottom of that case used to be filled with it, and they're all gone. So there's that, and and then financial things will change for certain people, priorities, and blah blah blah. One of the things I was going to mention, was like when I said we sell it, it moves, it goes, and then you have the guy that comes in the store. Where's all your Silver Age? Or I saw you posted all of this, 3 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's might be some crumbs, some smatterings out there.
Why didn't you come here 3 weeks ago when you saw what you wanted?
One of them, it was like 6 or 7 weeks. Somebody we both know came in and was like, I heard you had this, this, and this. And I'm like,
We did.
A month and a half ago. It's gone. I mean, we were talking about that Springfield collection. I got the X-Men 1. I couldn't tell you, that's definitely something we don't see very often. That came in. I posted it after close on a Friday night.
And first thing in the morning.
By 10:02, I was collecting payment on that Saturday morning after we opened the doors. For 8 weeks, people were reaching out and asking, is this still here? Coming in the store. Where'd that go? I sold it. Did you really? And I'm like, what?
Really? No.
That's what we're here for, is to sell stuff.
We're lying to you. We got it hidden in the back.
Yeah. And then that book hit Reddit and hit some other formats, and somebody was so proud. The guy that ended up owning it wasn't even the guy that came in and paid for it. Like, it was crazy.
Well, yeah. Well, I might have actually made that guy a little uncomfortable when he posted his huge lick that he hit buying an X-Men #1.
Oh, huge lick.
It was, well, I mean, it was for him, right? He got his grail. And I immediately commented, STL Comics for the win.
Did you get blocked?
No, but I didn't get any comments.
No response. No reaction.
Yeah. Because he wouldn't tell the Reddit community what he paid for it. And he knew that I knew. I mean, I counted the pages in that book. I recognized exactly what that cover looked like. When he put the picture up, I was like, oh, I know where that came from. Yeah. I mean, and if you're going to put it on a public forum like that and expect it to be a big secret, this day and age, you're fooling
and you're
yourself.
Also putting it out there for a reaction. So if the seller happens to react, just go with it. Like, why be ashamed of it? Like,
well, and I mean,
he got a fair price for sure.
And I didn't go in there and say anything about what he paid.
Yeah.
I didn't call him out on that.
Oh, you're a bigger man than I am.
Well, no, but what I did was just be like, hello,
a little self shout out for us.
Here we are. We did that for you. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Glad you're happy. I mean, that's a big thing.
All right. On that note,
I guess this is it. It feels weird doing a short one like this.
Well, yeah,
but this was what we set out to do. Something shorter.
It was the original goal to do about this length and then shut up. But apparently, one thing we're not short of is information and opinions. But definitely. You know what? We have plenty of time in the future.
Well, we're also like, what was John Goodman's name? And Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He talks to Dapper Dan man, and he says, I see, like me, you have the gift of gab, boy.
Yes.
We like to hear ourselves blow smoke. So that's here we are.
All the smoke.
All the smoke, blowing all the smoke. Maybe that's going to be the working name that we still have not figured out to this point.
Well, I mean,
what we are going to call this.
We're getting closer and closer to that because if we're doing anything in here, it's surely
Blowing the smoke.
blowing a bunch of smoke. So, hey, thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you. To all 5 people that might tune in and watch this, we hope it's a little bit more. Obviously, the feedback, the excitement at this point that we're hearing, obviously this won't come out for a while, but here, what we're hearing in the store is a lot of people are excited to see, and listen.
Well,
and they may be disappointed. That might happen. That's fine. But
anybody that doesn't just tune in, but has actually hung out with us through this entire cast, you're 45 minutes deep.
We appreciate your time. Thank you. Have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.